Ladies and gentlemen, nerds and neckbeards,
Welcome to a season 8 episode of
Westeros
Wheneverly.
Wheneverly. Oh my god, it's been so long.
It has been like 1,000 years.
It's been as long as the others have taken to rise up again.
It's 8,000 years.
It's been 8,000
years.
years.
In the age before time. Hi, Dave. It's so nice to see your face and hear your beautiful voice
Likewise.
again.
Thank you. Thank you. It's also great to see and hear from you as well. You've been freaking super busy. You're like a comic Wonder Woman now. It's incredible.
David, you are talking to the Hugo Award nominated artist, Tana Ford.
That's right. That's fucking awesome.
That's pretty incredible, right?
Oh my god,
Holy. So that's a thing that
that's
happened.
really awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
The awards this year are in Dublin, which is exciting. But I will be.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll be at FlameCon in New York City with all my gay brethren instead, which is fine. I think that, while it is an honor just to be nominated, I do not believe that my Black Panther book is going to win the Hugo Award. I think it is wonderful that we were nominated for it. So life has been super busy. And have we talked yet officially to our fans about the new format?
We have not talked to our new fans or old fans or any fans that are listening about our format at all. Unfortunately, no.
It's been a minute, and part of that is busyness, but also you moved house, Dave.
I did. I picked up and moved all the way to the great city of Orlando.
But mostly me.
But mostly me, yeah. But mostly me. Anyway.
So you moved. We used to do our one take wonders because I would go over to your house and we would record in the flesh. So it's taken a little bit to figure out how we're going to join the internet age and actually hang out just online instead of human to human.
Yeah. I think we're still going to be for those of you who are curious, we are still going to be one take wonders.
Yes.
It just now requires that I have to smash our two recordings together and then I guess try to edit them in sync. So I think we've figured out a good technique for it. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, so now we're no longer no editing.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
Slight editing, smash editing.
It's now slight editing, smash editing. Yeah,
So this week's episode.
Because who doesn't like to smash?
Oh. Hey man, cheers. And we don't get to cheers in real life anymore. Oh, that's so sad.
No, we don't. But we can still say this. All men
must drink.
Oh, yes.
What are you drinking?
What are you drinking, Tana?
I can't wait to tell you mine. I cannot.
Okay, so should I go first?
You go first.
So for those of you who didn't already figure this out, Tiana is the creative one out of the two of us.
And the one
I'm just around for the absolute nonsense.
Yes, and
so
I'm the one that used to bring the booze over to your house. So most often,
that's also true. That's also true.
I would come up with a clever or catchy drink for us to try, and then I would play bartender. A lot of times, you were very good at blending and lighting things on fire, and there was also a creative element that you brought to it. But there was definitely a person to person thing. I will say tonight would have been a great night for me to have blue curacao. Any of that gallon of blue curacao that you have that is now 3 hours away from me here. But alas, I had none. I had to make do without. But what are you drinking?
You might have to go pick some up.
I know, just to have it.
I am drinking out of my new tumbler here.
Very nice.
I am
is that
drinking.
A Corksicle?
It's a what?
Is that?
It's a Yeti.
It's a Yeti. Nice.
The Yeti. Yeah, I didn't want to say the name brand because we're not sponsored, but who gives a shit, right? I mean, no one's gonna sponsor us anyway. So they tried that and it failed.
Some
so who cares?
Do.
Anyway,
some people do. We can listen, man. Send us some shit. I like corksicle. I wonder if it's more of a gendered thing. Like we have in this house so many corksicle cups, which are just like wine glass shaped tumblers or champagne flute tumblers. And anyway, so it's
it's just a Yeti. But in it is I'm just lame, and I have some rum and coke and a little blue curacao. I had to put some of that in there because I still have this fifth.
Of course you do.
Handle, whatever the hell it is.
The gallon Jogo, which would have been great for me tonight. So David, tonight I am also riding the Green Dragon. Cheers, bud.
Oh, nice. Wait, does that mean there's weed in there?
No. I wish that there was something a touch greener. I've got lime juice. So it is a fiery, minty, green dragon. That's what the flavors of this are. So I have some muddled mint from my garden, the juice of one whole lime, some gin. There's a new gin that Kirsten got for me called Ford's Gin, which is,
Ford's. Nice.
It appeals to the old to my vanity. And for the fire bits, I have a shot of Jim Beam Fire, the cinnamon whiskey that we had, that I had for us, I don't know, a long time ago. And I don't drink it that often. And so I was like, so the Jim Beam Fire is the cinnamon whiskey, a little bit of gin, some muddled mint, the juice of one whole lime, and Topo Chico is the sort of tonic in there. It's mineral water that's delicious. Oh, and
nice.
At the very end, I put just a splash of peppermint schnapps in there because I wanted that sort of cold heat, minty, greenness to it, because I figured this is this is the Green Dragon I'm riding tonight, baby, in the cold with the fire.
So your name is Jon Snow then?
Oh, he looked terrible on that dragon. I love how uncomfortable he was.
You know what? They ripped off so many bandaids.
Man.
Just whoop, let's just get it over with. Let's do it. And you know what? I'm glad they did because it's not like we're waiting an entire season.
Yep, this is it.
They ripped off. And what's interesting too is they ripped off the Band-Aid of everything that we knew was going to happen, so that now it's what the fuck is going to happen?
Well, maybe not everything, but a significant amount of things they did. So
fair enough.
Let's talk about the whole thing. Let's talk about the title sequence. The new fucking location.
The new title sequence?
What the hell,
with man? Fucking the Night's King holding up a head or some shit on the...
It was fucking amazing. The wall, the cutout of the wall with the big hole. And then we're in the Winterfell crypts, and so there's all the little graves, which is sort of maybe a shout out to the zombie rising from the dead bullshit. They were
and how they turn all the ground to ice as they're showing
the tiles that
the winter's
over.
Coming, the tiles. Yeah.
That title sequence is so freaking good, man. And Kirsten and I are watching it. And she and I are both, every time we watch the show now, we just sing wiener, wiener, wiener.
Wiener. Of course, you can't not.
You have to sing that in the opening sequence. But both of us were like, holy shit, this is beautiful. It's just, who came up with this idea to do they build the world for us each time anew. It is tabletop gaming and visual splendor all at once. It's just gorgeous. I loved it. Anything?
Yeah, when I first saw the squares, I immediately thought it was I think that's bigger than 5 feet. It's got to be bigger than. I think my movement's only 25 feet, but I think I can get more than 2 squares. Anyway.
Well, if you're playing the Game of Thrones board game, movement doesn't matter. You're in Winterfell, now you can be in the Eyrie. Now you can be in the north of the Wall. It doesn't matter.
That's fair. Yeah, Good point.
Every other square is a teleportation circle. So we open with that big parade of marching soldiers, and you can't see what the soldiers are at first. Chunk, 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 chunk.
It's so parallel to the first episode of the first season.
Yeah.
So first episode of first season, the very first episode of Game of Thrones, you got Arya like running around, scurrying up, places to see the king and queen as they come through, and then she comes running in, and then he starts off with this boy who's running around trying to see who's coming in, and
and then did you know right away that it was the Unsullied soldiers?
I didn't know right away, but I mean I had a feeling, because like they're the only army that we really see march like with that cadence.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen anyone else marching that way. So they really, they did a good job. But, my one question, I just rewatched the episode tonight. And one of the things that popped into my mind was, how the fuck did the Unsullied get back from Casterly Rock so quick?
The teleportation device. Obviously, they just teleported back
Oh,
over.
obviously, right. Yeah,
so it's really easy to move.
My bad, I forgot.
Yeah, it's really easy to move armies around in this universe. They just are there, so that's fine. It was nice seeing the winter town. The opening scene, as we pull back. So you guys know that I'm not really a show person. I don't often rewatch episodes. Like I enjoy the show now that they have surpassed the books, because I thought it did such a terrible job of adapting the books. And I'm so precious about the books. But now being able to see things come to life is really enjoyable for me. So like, I don't get a lot of the connections between the first season and this now the final season.
That's why I'm telling it to you.
I know, which is why you're so valuable to me. But there's something really beautiful about being in that winter town, where Arya is like hanging out with the normal Northerners, and you can sort of see Winterfell in the distance. I really enjoyed that particular part. I thought they did that really well, and all the long columns of of the soldiers marching, but I didn't remember. Like,
also,
I didn't remember that's what Unsullied were, and Kirst was teasing me. I was like, "Oh, it's the Unsullied," and she's like, "Yeah, dummy."
yeah, dummy. What
right.
I thought was really cool. What I thought was really cool was the fact that this is the first time I think we see like the true reaction of people to dragons.
Yes.
Like, anytime a dragon has flown over, we've either seen like some army like just kind of staring there, like kind of shaking in their boots, or when the dragons flew over the free cities, people just looked up and stared. It wasn't like if you saw a fucking dragon that you haven't seen in 100 years, you're doing what these northern folks did. You're fucking screaming and running. You're like, holy shit, it's a fucking dragon.
Yep.
Like, there's no fucking way. So I thought that was a really nice touch to the fact that like, hey, real people would be fucking scared as shit of some dragons showing up.
Yes, so. I agree, and I think that they did that sort of the reactions and the sort of like typical faces really well. I thought it was well shot. I think it's a good reintroduction. We are entering Winterfell at the beginning of the end, just as we left Winterfell at the beginning of the series. We're returning home for the viewer.
Yes.
There's a feeling of coming home, and now this is also a chance for these characters that haven't seen each other in a long time, and maybe since the series began, to kind of reconnect. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's very awesome. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So. But then where does it take us from there? I mean,
so
Winterfell is yours, Your Grace.
Yeah, so you go into Winterfell. What do you think about Sansa meeting Dany? There is some serious side eye right there. Why does she hate?
Oh my God.
Like, first of all, I have to just say it feels like the entire universe is all about Sansa and her redemption arc and how she should be the queen of the universe or whatever. And I am not a Sansa apologist. Like, she's all right. She's all right. Like, where do you?
Yeah,
I
agree.
Fall?
I don't think she's like all that in a bag of chips. I mean, she's cool, but she's kind of also annoying at the same point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else to describe it, and it is really interesting though. There's a scene that probably is a little bit later, but not too far later, where she's standing on the balcony and Tyrion comes up and talks to her, and she makes some
Yeah.
comment like, I thought you were there was a time when I thought you were the cleverest person in Westeros.
Yeah, and she says that after the Cersei stuff. So I was getting some Cersei vibes with her and Dany, right? Like she's looking at this other powerful woman, and she's like taking her measure and is sort of very curt and terse with her, and is like, Winterfell is yours, your grace, after giving her this like bitch face. And
Yeah.
and I'm getting this, like, I get that Sansa has been burned by queens before, especially blonde ones, and like, okay, but I don't know, Sansa just reads as such a dick to me. And then immediately, so Winterfell's yours, your grace. She side eyes. Dany's like, this bitch, and then Bran immediately is like, "Excuse me, we don't have time for this. The Night King has your dragon. The wall is down. Everyone's dying. There's gonna be a fight in 5 minutes. Can we please move along?"
Yeah, I thought that was funny too, because it's like Bran is like, he's almost like D&D's inner monologue, like,
Yep.
guys, we don't have time for this shit.
Yeah.
We need to finish the season.
Yeah, that's right. And he's just such a creep, right? Like there was this moment later in the episode where Sam says, "Where's your brother John?" and something like that, and he's like, "I am not his brother." And you get, do you get the like three-eyed crow weird vibes from him? That like
From Bran?
Yeah, all the time. Like they're trying to do this weird I am no longer Bran Stark thing, but like he's not his brother, he's his cousin, right? Like Bran now knows that they're not actually brothers, they're cousins. So like he's accurate by saying that, but it still comes off, or it's supposed to come off as like as three-eyed raven weird, right, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be creeping us out every chance he gets, right?
I don't know. I mean, the three-eyed raven is supposed to be this all-seeing, all-knowing thing, right? But I don't remember Blood Raven like being fucking creepy about it. Like, I mean, yeah, he was in a tree for probably 100 years or so. But like, I don't know, like, creepy, like I'm just gonna be
Super
stalking and telling you shit like
just,
all the time.
And he's just like he's just leaning into this like super creep thing, and that's fine. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Bran, because right now he's just boring and creepy. Like that's all he does.
What's his purpose, right? What's Bran's purpose,
exactly.
Right now his purpose, like, okay, we got the whole connection. He's gonna figure out who Jon Snow's mom was.
Mm-hmm.
He solves that riddle, he solves that problem.
Yeah.
What's his purpose now? They told Jon, right? He said, I stop. The wall is down. We have to work, right? The Night King's marching. But like, if you can see everything, you gotta do something with it.
Yeah.
Don't just.
This is the thing about the Stark men, the Stark boys. They are annoying as fuck, and I understand that I'm coming at this as like a fucking lesbian, so like maybe dudes just aren't my thing, but these whiny fucking bitches. So Bran is a little creepo, right? Like that's fine. He's like doing his weird Lady Cleo thing, fine. But Jon Snow is such a whiny baby. Like every chance he gets, I didn't ask to be king. I don't want to be king. I'm a bastard. Blah, blah, blah. Like, what did people see in this guy? Like, why? I get it. You're like, you would be a good lieutenant or something, but he's not. Oh my God, everyone is just bending over backwards for this guy. And I'm like, what is he bringing to the table? He is such a like, oh, not me. Like he needs a fainting couch. That's what this guy needs. He needs to like put his hand over his forehead and just like drape himself on the nearest like fur-lined couch. And be like, I didn't want to be the king.
As we heard from Tyrion maybe it was last season, I thought I was good at brooding, but you're clearly the best.
Yeah.
He's just a
I
brooding man.
It'll be interesting. So since this is the first episode of the season, to see if Jon has a character arc, like how much growth is, like he's already like let himself die. He's done his Jesus thing for the realm, right? Like he got stabbed in the heart and he died and came back, and like, okay, and if anybody, Tyrion says something at that dinner table when they're doing that first meeting in the first scene. if any of us survive. It's after Lyanna Mormont. What is it with kids? There was the
Yeah.
5-year-old from Last Hearth for some reason. In the books, they're all grizzled old men. But for some reason, it's a 5-year-old. And then there's Lyanna Mormont given so much spice to, Jon Snow and Sansa and everyone, and just sort of like, being surly here. But besides the kids, like Tyrion gets up after that scene and is like, if any of us survive, it's because of Jon Snow. Okay, all right, he's the hero, I guess. Like, I'm along for the ride because you tell me he's the hero, but like, okay, I don't
You left Winterfell a king and came back. I'm not sure what you are now. A lord? Nothing at all? Like, come on. Like,
now, do you buy
I'm
that?
sorry.
What was your reaction when you first saw that scene?
well, so part of me is like, okay, like Sansa is going to enjoy this because she, from what we think, she's jealous a little bit. She wants to be the queen in the north or whatever like that because she was taught by Cersei and she is, kind of almost, I don't want to say becoming Cersei, but like there's this evil Cersei growth in her, like a tumor, right? He's not the Duma, but it's a tumor. She does that thing to Ramses at the end of season 7. And basically washes and smiles a little bit, and she plays that game with Littlefinger.
Yeah.
That was very much a Cersei move in my opinion.
So what I'm hearing from you is that you're seeing women in power, right? Like this is how in this feudal society, women that achieve any sort of power, this is how it manifests, right? Like it has to be sort of this way, this Cersei-esque way. I mean, so Sansa's immediate response was like, when people were talking about Jon coming back, or you're not the king anymore, but I'm doing it for the North. I only care about the North. She's like, hey, he's like, I brought 2 of the greatest armies to the North to fight for us. And Sansa's like, yeah, by the way, how are we gonna feed the 2 greatest armies in the North ever? And also, how are we gonna feed some dragons? Like, what do dragons eat?
They eat whatever they want, motherfucker. With this like side glance.
Yes.
Biatch.
That was a good line. I gotta say, they got in some excellent looks. Like the characters looking at each other was really great in this episode. Like a lot of shared glances, and they kind of be icy and then they'd warm up to each other. And then also a couple of really good one-liners. What do dragons eat? Whatever they want.
What do dragons eat? Whatever they want. That, I mean, kind of ridiculous in my opinion. Like, why? I get resentment, right? I get it, but Sansa was never the type of person to judge someone before she met her, right? I mean, granted, she's grown a lot since first leaving Winterfell, but,
Yep, so have we all when we were children.
And they are definitely setting up some major foreshadowing with Dany becoming an evil person, in my opinion.
Yeah?
Which is kind of nuts, but we'll get there. We'll get there, Tana.
We'll get there. The next place we have to go is Gendry, who I immediately thought was Podrick Payne. Is this shaved head look working for you?
I mean, I'm not into dudes either, so like, I mean, I thought he looked hotter when he was like sweaty in King's Landing with his shirt off, like hitting the hammer, like, I'm a fucking sexy motherfucking blacksmith. Come on.
Yeah, doesn't he need to have like some, sweaty forehead locks like sticking to his face and brush his hair out of his eyes? Like that would be a better look for him, no? Am I just being crazy here? So anyway, I thought he was Podrick Payne when I first saw him. And then Kirsten was like, that's Gendry. And I was like, oh, right.
Yep.
So
I'm so glad that you know the characters in the show.
I know.
It's so great.
I'm so glad we have a podcast about a thing I'm super good at knowing things about. And then a bunch of charcoal. So this is how I saw the scene. So
it's not charcoal. It's dragon glass, Tana. Come on.
So Podrick Payne is like in the back somewhere, just like out in the yard.
Shoveling charcoal.
Yeah. And he's like, you guys, be careful. We're in the north. It's going to be cold here. Obviously, I have no hair, so I'm extra cold. Keep this charcoal up there.
It's fucking ridiculous,
Next
Tana.
scene. and then we see Sansa and Tyrion together.
Yeah. I thought this was a good scene. You know, this
I
episode again they're ripping band-aids off. They're saying all these people who were headed to the same place are obviously going to see each other. Let's get it all over now. Let's not draw out their interactions, over 7 episodes, because as Bran said, we don't have time for this. The Night King is marching.
Yeah, there was another one of those really good lines, like this subtle one-liners that I thought really went over well. And it's when Tyrion says to Sansa something like, the last time I saw you, the last time we spoke to each other was at Joffrey's wedding. And then he's like, miserable affair. And she kind of looks side-eye at him.
Yeah.
And she says, it had its moments.
It had its moments, yeah.
And then immediately in your head, you're just like, she smiles a little bit, and you're just like picturing Joffrey choking to death, and I'm like, yes, yes, queen. So
if this was like a one of those sitcoms on like prime time, it absolutely would have flashed back to Joffrey choking on a pigeon pie or something like that.
Yeah, or like a laugh track or something from the audience, from the live studio.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And then sorry I left you like that. And he's all like, yeah, duh. I was on trial for my life, and a guy got his eyes gouged out because he left me.
Great couple lines here too. I thought were when he says, a lot of people underestimated you, and all of them are dead now, or most of them are dead now. Something along those lines.
So good. And they're talking about Cersei, and I think what they're trying to do in this scene is show that Tyrion Lannister has a blind spot for his family, for his siblings. Yeah, and as much as book Tyrion detests Cersei and really, really wants to kill her so much, in the show it's very different and it's more nuanced, I think. And he believes her. Whatever happened with the baby? Is she pregnant or not? Do we know? Or are we not supposed to know?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, the last we hear is from her, and she says, yes, I'm pregnant, right? But what the problem with that is, and maybe we can talk about it when we get there with Euron, but she has some wine. She wasn't drinking wine before, but I think, Tyrion does say like she has something to live for now. So I mean, what? So I assume he still thinks she's pregnant.
Right. He for sure does. But like, did we ever think she was pregnant? Like, did we? But there wasn't like some miscarriage or something that I'm forgetting about.
No, not that they've shown the audience.
Okay.
And I mean, I think she's been playing. I think she used it just to play him, right? Because that's how fucking sadistic she is.
Yeah, because she knows he has a soft spot for the family and needs to see her as as a sort of, not a mother, but, but maybe as a mother. Like he sees.
I think it's less as a mother, and it's more of like, I think he legitimately wants to see the Lannister name live on. As much as his father did, but I think he wants to see it live on, but not at the cost of what his father was willing to give up. So I mean,
so I think do you think that Cersei is playing Tyrion here? Do you think he has a blind spot for his family, for his evil sister?
I did going into this. I absolutely did going into this, and I really thought she was trying to play Jaime too, and she definitely was. But I think Jaime called her bluff.
Yeah. Yeah, something that.
So on the other hand, she could absolutely be pregnant, and Jaime called her bluff anyway, and then he goes fucking mad when he finds out that she was with child. But.
Well, and then later in this episode, after she bones creepy drunk uncle, he's like, I put a prince in your belly. First of all, I understand that like maybe the American public school system isn't the best, but after the popularity of Game of Thrones and how often they talk about putting babies in bellies, like young children that don't get a lot of sex education are really going to be confused about like female reproductive organs and where babies come from. Spoiler,
What do you mean? You
they're
don't
not in the
think the
baby.
man puts a baby? You don't think the man puts the baby in the belly?
In the belly, yeah. So totally, it's definitely in the belly. There's definitely a prince in the belly. But this is another one of those moments where drunk uncle was like, "I put a prince in your belly," and she kind of looks off because we as the audience are thinking, isn't there occupado? Isn't there already somebody in there?
Yeah. There isn't a vacant sign on her stomach or anything like that. But that scene was great too when he's in the throne room and he's like, "Oh, I brought you all this stuff and I have a broken heart because my queen hasn't shown me any affection."
Yeah.
Very.
Pay
But
attention to my
that
bone.
line. That line that she gives became the face of Reddit memes all over the place, which is, "If you want a whore, buy one. If you want a queen, earn her." Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another really good line. I think that they did a good job in this opening, this opening episode to kind of recenter us, make it exciting, remind us of what the stakes are, give us that like fan satisfaction of these characters. The Arya and Jon Snow hug, the seeing Bran again for the first time, all of these reunions. There was a lot to like here, and I think they did it really well.
Yes.
My
Agreed,
question for you.
100%.
So Jon is standing in the weirwood grove in the Godswood. Is the face on the weirwood tree closed? Like, does the face open and close in the show? Because it looked like it was like sad and closed, like it wasn't looking anymore.
I couldn't really tell. It's very possible that it's kind of like closed off a little bit and crying. It's supposed to be more like crying now.
Yeah. Dear audience, dear fans, please write to
Dear
me
fans.
specifically at westeroswheneverly@gmail.com and tell me whether or not, and use screenshots if this is helpful, to tell me whether or not that face changes, or is it just like one static thing in the background that's always the same, and I am mapping my own suppositions onto it. Thanks so much. But then Jon's there and he sees Arya and she has Needle. There's a reunion.
Oh, that was awesome because you see this scene. He's like, "How'd you sneak up on me? Mm-hmm. How'd you live through a dagger in the heart?"
Yeah. And he's like, "I didn't." Even his like way of being
yeah.
"I didn't." For a fire white, you're really pretty normal.
Oh, that's true. That's true. For a fire white, that's
right?
true.
Like, that's what he is. He's been reincarnated by R'hllor. Dude,
Yeah.
like, shouldn't you be different somehow? Shouldn't you be like less less like yourself or something? Like, I don't know. And what happened to Ghost? Did Ghost die?
No, Ghost isn't dead. They just haven't had. They spent their CGI budget on dragons.
I mean, is Ghost just like looking at Jon riding Rhaegal and being like, "Motherfucker, this bitch"?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. He's definitely like, "Fuck this. What the fuck how do I compete with a dragon? I mean, I promise I won't watch you two having sex in front of a waterfall."
That was so creepy. Oh, but the CGI, oh my God, those ruffles on the dragons, solid, man. So beautiful. So beautiful. But we're just seeing
really
Needle
impressive.
again. I thought it was really nice that he saw Needle. And did he pick up on the cat's paw dagger as well?
I don't. Now
Or
that
was
I think
that
about
later
it, I don't.
with Bran? That was later with Bran.
I think
right?
that's
or somebody.
no, that's later with
Sam?
with Gendry.
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 That's Gendry. That's right. Because she holds
Yeah, no,
the Valyrian steel sword.
Yeah, and she says when she's speaking to Gendry, she says something like, he says, "Oh, I always knew you were just another rich girl."
Yeah.
When she has the Valyrian steel cat's paw dagger,
And this
but
was her
she's
perfect
just-
line. She goes, "You don't know any other rich girls." That was such a
Yep.
solid line. Holy shit, that was such a solid line.
So after we see another reunion, we see Cersei and Qyburn at King's Landing, right?
Yep.
And this scene in particular made me really wonder if Qyburn is starting to not mistrust, but like question the queen.
Oh.
And It's only a split second. It's only a split second. But he says something like, "Your Grace, I'm afraid I bring terrible news. The dead have broken through the wall." And Cersei is like, "Good," and walks away. And Qyburn, like, it almost looks like Qyburn's like, "Wait, what? You wanted that to happen or something?"
I think that's an interesting take because I think Qyburn has so thoroughly hitched his wagon to Cersei that, like, and also is a sadistic fuck in the show for sure, but also especially in the books. And I think here's a character that kind of overlaps well. I think that I think whatever she wants, he's on board. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's naive of me, but I think he was, that scene read as like surprise, like, oh, obviously you'd want to save mankind, but instead you're planning on, I don't know, murdering the people and marrying the Night King. I don't know what your end game is here, Cersei.
Yeah,
but he's like,
that's a good point. Maybe that's what she's doing. I think you're right. I really do, and definitely there's some scenes later on in this episode that reinforce his loyalties and his creepiness. But there's just when I first saw this, it's a split second, and I'm like, oh, well, that's a little weird. Qyburn, you look a little worried, and then
he's
of course you see,
for sure,
and then of course you see fucking the Greyjoy fleet coming back with a gorgeous looking man standing on the bow of Silence.
Okay, Harry Strickland in the books is like such a dumpling wastrel of a guy. Like is just,
I know,
so gouty and swollen. He has one of the Golden Company boys like rubbing his toes and telling him, "Oh, gently, like a little grape. Just like squeeze it like a grape." And this is the guy, the Harry Strickland, that is leading the Golden Company, right? In the books. And so
well, of course,
now we get
in the books. In the books, he's only leading them by by name. And, Griff is really the leader of the Golden Company. But I don't think they're writing that into the storyline. So
and this guy is like this guy is chin
dashing
for days. Like he's got so much chin. Matt Smith needs to watch out. What the hell, man?
All
right, so the Golden Company's on its way with creepy Greyjoy with drunk uncle.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Does he have a sword, a Blackfire sword? Or Dark Sister or something.
I mean, I think in this show they just need to add an army because Cersei's got nobody, right? Like she's got drunk uncle and the Iron Fleet that they were able to put together in 2 days, apparently. Do you remember last season or the season before where he was like, Yasha took all of our ships, and he's like, that's all right, we'll make more, and they like in one day build 1,000 warships. So again,
of course,
they teleport them across
the
Greyjoys. Great. So what about this like creepy Yasha? Yara? Asha? Nope. Okay, Yara. What do we think about this scene here? The creepy uncle scene.
So
do we need to spend any time on it?
I mean, we probably don't, but there's just a couple things that I want to point out about this. One, I know you read the leaked Euron or Dampier scene from the Winds of Winter.
Sure as hell did. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so this part kind of reminded me a little bit of that.
Okay.
Just like, the sitting on the ship drunk being like, we're family,
Okay.
We're the last of the Greyjoys. But I mean, obviously it didn't go as brutally gross, and this scene also ended with him standing on the bow of his ship with a bunch of people in gold armor, right?
And he's complaining about how on the Silence, which is apparently his ship, he's like, they're just all mutes, and I can't talk to anyone. The only one I can talk to is you. And then we do in that leaked chapter have Euron talking to Dampier and really having these like, I don't know, deep drug-induced conversations. That's a good pick, Dave. Good for you. Look at you making that connection. And that was interesting. And the other thing I thought was interesting was he basically admitted, he goes, yeah, I'll just switch sides. I don't, if I'm losing, if Cersei's losing, okay, I'll sail this Iron Ship another way. But first,
I'm a fuck the queen.
Ugh. Like, and do you think that this is fan service? So, I don't know. I'm a little torn on it, right? Because I think the fact that he is this cocky and confident definitely works for Cersei, right? Like, the way that she pauses and then is like, yeah, all right, you can come. Like, that would work for Cersei. The character that they've created in the show, built from the character in the books. Yeah, I believe this 100%. He has to be this like gross and, dripping with confidence and pushing at her a little bit. I think she would find that interesting. She would go for it. So that worked for me, but it also feels just kind of like, I have to suspend the fact that there's nobody else in her royal chambers. Like I have to suspend disbelief about how these things would actually go and just let myself enjoy the ridiculousness of the show.
You mean you think that she would have the mountain like right there regardless or something like that? Or
maybe I don't know. You know what? It works enough. It works enough for the show that I need to just like let my eyes go a little bit blurry and let it like, this is fine. This works. I like that she initially walks away. I like that she like puts down the hammer and is, and saying, you want a whore, go buy a whore. You want a queen, earn her. And then she walks away. Like she has that moment. I'm glad she has that moment. And then he does the thing he does, and he complains and is, cocky and, and more interesting than what she was going to do for the rest of the night. So, you know what? All right. Okay. Let's see. And then he goes in and we have this really, fruitful exchange, this very interesting exchange when he says the thing about, am I better than King Robert? Really good insights from Queen Cersei. Robert had a different whore in his bed every night, but didn't
know his way around a woman.
Couldn't find a female pleasure center if his life depended on it. And then he asks about the Kingslayer. Like that's some cocky shit right there.
I mean, he did it. He did it in season 7 when he fucking gets up on stage to stand next to Jaime. He says something like, "Does she like anything weird? Can you tell me? Like a finger in the bum?
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me now. I'll figure it out in private." He's just like, ugh. I think they cast him great, and I think he's portraying him great. Absolutely.
Yep. And, you want a whore, buy one. You want a queen, earn her. How? I've given her justice, an army, the Iron Fleet, and yet she gives me no sign of affection. My heart is nearly broken.
Yep.
Like, you're insolent. I've executed men for less is the line. And he says,
they were lesser men.
Oh, that's such a flavor of Jaime right there. That is such a callback to the cat in when Jaime is in chains. There are no men like me. And of course, right. This is an echo of what Cersei would be into. And there was a moment where Drunk Uncle kind of elevated himself, right? Like you see that Cersei has a type, and yeah, he's fucking gross, but he'll do for now. They were lesser men. Oh, it's so good. Yep. Anyway, where do we go from there?
Jump over to Bran being naked with some whores, who, by the way, couldn't shut up about all the people who died. I love this scene because it portrays Bran in the most light that he's just the way he's been the whole season, where he's been standing next to Jaime and he's like, that girls all want you, like you still only have one hand, but they always fucking want you, like. What about those girls? They're staring at you. No, they're staring at you, you idiot. And then these girls are like,
they can't stop talking about the horrors of war and how terrible dragons are.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm the only one in Westeros who have shot a dragon. I'm the only man. Like, I fought a dragon. And they're like, oh, tall, handsome William is dead. I think they can fit the rest of him in a wine glass.
The other guy has no eyelids.
Yeah, that's right.
And Bran's just like, son of a bitch, pay attention to me.
Yeah. Poor guy.
All men must drink.
Must drink.
I'm just going to cheers my own cup so that we have a little.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll accept it.
I miss you in person, buddy.
And then
but
this
this is all right.
This is working great.
We'll see. We'll polish this turd until it shines.
I mean, we didn't know what we were doing during the first web podcast anyway. And by the third one, we had like specialty drinks. We had names,
We're good, man.
Yeah, we're good. We got this. Fans, you guys love us, right? I mean, you don't have to write us because I don't expect you to. But if you want to write us and tell us that you still love us, then you can.
Tana would love to hear. The Hugo Award nominated artist, Tana Ford, would love to hear from you.
Yes, my co-host, by the way, welcome to Wheneverly with Dave and Tana. And I'm Dave, a nerd who sits in his room playing video games. And my co-host is a Hugo Award-winning, Hugo nominated comic book artist.
Nominated, Queer Press
Lambda
Grant
nominated.
winning, Marvel and Dark Horse artist. It'll be like this. All the titles, like Queen Daenerys of the Seven.
Yeah, I was gonna say we just need to put those all in your name. Tana
it.
Ford, Hugo nominated.
Yep.
Lambda nominated.
Yep. It'll say Dave, engineer.
Engineer. Oh, god damn it.
Speaking of engineers, can somebody please design a dragon saddle? Like, I get that Danny's only had these dragons for a minute, but like somebody needs to put like a fucking harness on this thing so that you don't have to just hang on, right? Like,
know who's gonna do that?
Tana.
Who should have done that?
Gendry?
Yes, but no, Tyrion.
Oh, Tyrion knows how to make that special saddle for
Bran. That's
Bran
right.
and Dancer.
For the horses.
I wonder
That's
if
what I'm
he would
saying.
be able, he'd be able to like design dragon saddles, especially since he's gonna be the third dragon rider. What?
Well, there's no third dragon, Tana. It's the ice dragon now or whatever.
Totally, because John's really good at his job. Okay, so Bran is getting getting a little three-way from girls that do not have any interest in him. And then Qyburn knocks on the door and he's like, "Excuse me, I need to talk to you about murdering Jaime and Tyrion."
Oh. I love it how he uses his title too. Bran of the Blackwater.
Yes. And he has some line where he's like, Bran got in a good one-liner where he's like, the queen, think of what she would do if you rid her of her, two brothers or whatever. He's like, yeah,
treasonous brothers.
Yeah. Well, she thanked me right out of a castle the last time. So he had some pretty good lines in here as well. But what is this scene? Like, why would Qyburn ever, I get it, it's the show, right? Like, that's always the answer. But in no reality, does Bran, best friend to Jaime, bro for life of Tyrion, accept, like, a bribe from the evil sister to murder both of them? Literally anyone else.
This is 100%, I think, just the method to get Bran to the north. Because before this, like, he helps Jaime on the wagon train and then we don't see him again, right? He rescues Jaime. They go back to King's Landing and then we don't see Bran ever again.
Yeah,
so
Jaime owes him his life, as does Tyrion. I mean, I don't remember all the show stuff, but like, in the show, does Bran defend Tyrion at the
Of course,
Eyrie?
in the Vale. Yeah,
okay.
of
So
course.
so both the brothers, in the way that both Sansa and Arya owe the Hound their lives, both of the Lannister dudes owe Bran their lives. And so ask literally anybody else to go kill them. But okay, all right. So Bran's going to the north with the magic crossbow. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay,
the crossbow that Tyrion killed Tywin with.
Yeah, for some sort of, I don't know, show. Where do we go after that? What happens next?
Actually, so after that, Yara and Theon rescues Yara.
That's right.
And
big rescue. Rescue on the
big rescue.
Sea.
And if you look in the background, that's the damn fair. I think that's the damn fair standing on the deck of the ship. So just an interesting.
Did we have a damn fair? Now in the show,
we did.
I think the King's Moot might have
He's
happened
at the King's Moot
before you and I started podcasting about the show because I think I still hated the show back then. Is there a character Damp Hair in the show? And
There is, but he doesn't have like a big role, and there's no real like he like and the Kingsmoot even was like, this is the way we've done it always for thousands of years.
Got it.
This is how we select. It's like, no, that's bullshit. That's an old way. But anyway.
All right. So, hey, all right. Oh, and one thing earlier that I thought was really nice, foreshadowing and the things that they do visually in the show. We're in the throne room with Cersei, and Drunk Uncle is there, and we see Cersei silhouetted. There is a perfect Cersei silhouette of a candelabra that's behind her. But the candles are shaped in a sort of triangle so that it perfectly outlines her head and shoulders. So from the way that they shoot this, which occurs to me as very deliberately, it looks like she's rimmed in fire, and there is not a chance on Earth that was a mistake. Like, she hits her mark. The candles are perfectly outlined to her body. Go back and watch that scene.
Yeah.
I think that they do things in the show that other shows didn't do with like visual foreshadowing of things. And so I wonder if this is a foreshadowing to Cersei's eventual end. We will see. But she was definitely wreathed in flame in that.
I think it's really interesting too. Another thing is you see the throne room, but there's no one in it. Right?
That's part of the thing that I was like, it's not realistic. You would have so many more people, even if they were just attendants or something like that.
But I think this is showing that she doesn't fucking like anyone, and that no one likes her. I think this is very deliberate. Like, okay, I'm in the throne room, but it's just me. I'm all alone. I've pushed everyone that has ever loved me away. I guess I'll fuck crazy uncle now.
Yep. Do we think that Asha Greyjoy, but Yara in the show, is she going to become the queen of the Iron Islands? Do we think that this is a thing that the show is surprising?
I mean, that's what it's setting it up for, right? She's going to go back to Pike, and Theon's going to go fight with Jon and Arya and Sansa.
It'll be interesting to see how George handles that, because the Iron Islands are so rigid. They're so ironclad in some ways that while it makes sense for Asha Greyjoy to be leading them, that she embodies everything about their way of life and what makes them great, except she doesn't have a cock. Like, all of that is right there, but we'll just see how it plays out. But in this scene, Theon says, "You're my queen. I go where you command." And she's like, "All right, bitch, go to Winterfell. Go see your friends. You're allowed." She signs his hall pass and kisses him goodbye and is like, "You can go shoot your bow and arrow up at the wall. Take some of those take some of those charcoal arrows that they're making there."
Yep.
So, I think this might foreshadow something very interesting with Theon's character arc. He's not dead in the books. And, we leave him. The very last scene that we have is, it was published with Dance with Dragons, and it's a chapter from Winds of Winter. It was published with Dance with Dragons. So like, it's been out for 11,000 years. So people should have read it. But it's Theon and Stannis, and Theon is a captive. And Asha Greyjoy comes and says, "If you're going to kill him, my lord, do it by the tree." And Bran, who's like warging the birds, is like, the tree, Theon. Like, this is the sort of like, the beginning of things. But so we think Theon's about to die in the books, but oh my goodness, could he possibly not die? Obviously, he's not going to die.
Obviously. Yep. I agree.
But this idea that he's
Theon, and he hears his name because he's sitting there and he's like, "Who am I? Who am I? Theon."
Yeah, I think that it's too rich, right? Like, you can see this arc, this redemption arc, this guy, being completely changed, right? Like, he was so afraid of laughter. He was so blind to so many things. He gets this brutal torture. Is there going to be a way? He, has become a hated thing from all the people that he used to think of as his friends and his family. They hate him, as they should, thinking that he killed Bran and Rickon. But, like, is he going to have a redemption arc? Will he be able, like, to shoot an arrow, I don't know, at the ice dragon? You know, like, is Theon going to have this big moment where he's the hero, where he gets to, like, save humanity? I think that could be satisfying.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Theon plays it out because, like you said, I think he ends up going back to Winterfell, and we'll see if they allow him there with open arms. Because John did say, the only reason why I'm not killing you now when he saw him last season was, because of what you did for my sister. But
yeah.
Well, so yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yep. In the show, isn't it what is dead may never die, but rises again harder and stronger? Or did they just say what is dead may never die?
I think it is. The whole saying is that, and the damn fear does say that when he's doing the, baptism of Euron in the King's Moot. So I mean, it is that saying, but I think they just. When they say it to each other, what is dead may never die. But what's interesting, too, is that whole saying, what is dead may never die, and then Yara goes, but kill the bastards anyway, Like...
This is some sort of zombie reference, for sure.
Of course. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. What's next?
Back to Winterfell. Karstarks are arriving. Tyrion's like, oh, they have such a good... The interaction between Tyrion and Davos is really good, and I'm looking forward to more of this.
Yes. Davos
Tyrion's
is great.
like, oh, one of the better banners in Winterfell, better than an onion.
And the Onion Knight, like, totally agrees with him. He's like, yeah, you've got me there.
Yep.
Oh, it's so good. The Karstarks and like, okay, so everybody. This is showing us that everybody needs to unite together. Okay, great. Varys also, I feel like he should have some sort of woolen beanie or something over his super bald head.
Yeah, right.
It's cold, you guys. Like, it's cold out there. He needs to have a hat on.
His dick was cut off by a sorcerer. He's got enough fire to keep him going.
Those no dick jokes are pretty funny. Like, there are these moments of levity that I think that were much needed and played really well.
You're lucky your balls aren't freezing off. Mm-hmm. For a man who really hates dwarf jokes, you make a lot of eunuch jokes. It's like, that's because you have no balls.
Oh, and you get this sense that, like, Tyrion is the outsider here, right? Like, he's not quite as old as these guys. He makes that, like, I'm not as old as you guys. But he just kind of sticks out a little bit, right? Like, it feels like this company he's keeping, maybe is it like he just is a square peg, and I think he feels
not a little undeserving, but he just feels like, yeah, these guys have really good advice, and I think he's a little bit like, I want to live up to them, a little bit.
Yep.
So
there was a comment that reminded me of the book that just came out, Fire and Blood. What if the Seven Kingdoms, for once in their whole shit history, were ruled by a just woman and an honorable man? Does that remind you of anyone, David? Anyone in the history of Westeros? Can you think of one royal couple for whom that might have been true?
I would say... Oh, what was his name? It wasn't Aenys, was it?
It definitely was not Aenys.
It was before the Conciliator, right?
No, it was Jaehaerys the Conciliator.
Yeah. Okay, it was the Conciliator. Yeah. I always get the history of the Targaryens a little confused, but his reign was long, and everyone loved him and his wife, and
good Queen Alysanne and old King Jaehaerys, because Jaehaerys was the Conciliator after Maegor. Made the entire
Maegor the
kingdom.
Cruel.
Had murdered half of the kingdom and was at war forever. And so Jaehaerys comes along with his sister wife, Queen Alysanne, and they are riding dragons everywhere and having a million kids. And this is when Septon Barth is in the mix. He's Jaehaerys' best friend. Like, that was that's the golden age. And so what if the Seven Kingdoms, for once in their whole shit history, were ruled by a just woman and an honorable man? Learn your history, Tyrion. They have.
That wasn't Tyrion. That was Davos.
Was it
so,
Davos?
yeah.
Oh, and then we have the Johnny. Johnny jumps on a dragon. I'm riding my own green dragon right now.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Fucking cheers. All men must drink. This scene was good too because John's like, well, what if he doesn't want me to ride him? And Danny's like, well, your company was great then.
Yeah, that was a good line.
It was nice.
Really good line.
It was nice knowing you.
There's a part of me
what
that
do I
was
hold
like,
on to?
yeah, that part of me was like, come on, Rhaegal, just toast him like you did to Quentin. Just roast him like Quentin Martell, baby. Just John snack pack.
Just a little snow. Hey, John. B7. Oh, sorry. I thought you were a vending machine because you're looking like a snack.
Get out.
Okay, and so the next scene after they ride dragons and actually, I do want to mention this. A lot of parallels again.
Yeah.
We could stay here 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Who
what's
said that before?
I mean, this was Yasha. No,
You don't-
Yara.
No,
What is her name?
Yvette. Ygritte. Ygritte said, we could stay in this cave. We could live here forever, just you and I. We don't have to worry about the man in the walls. And
I immediately picked up on the Ygritte stuff, even though I didn't remember her name right now. Kissed by Fire, Ygritte stuff. But the other thing was we could stay here 1,000 years. What if they become undead and then they do stay there for 1,000 years?
Oh, well then, just like John said, they'd be really old.
They'd be really old, and then they kiss. Like, what does she even see in this guy? All right. So they apparently bone in front of the watchful eye of the dragons. Rhaegal could not care less. Drogon the dragon is staring right at Jon the whole time.
Yep. Rhaegal, named after Jon's dad, Rhaegar.
Yeah, that's right. Rhaegal. Rhaegar and his gal. Rhaegal.
Oh.
Hey.
Okay.
Where do we go after this? I mean, is there anything else?
Gendry
about this scene?
is no. That scene,
Right.
it's that. I think that scene is like almost all fanfare, except to rip the Band-Aid off of. Yep, John's riding a dragon. The important bit in that scene is Jon is riding a dragon.
Yep.
Everything
right.
else is boat sex fanfare.
Yep. Good. The boy gets to ride a dragon. He doesn't know Dracarys. He doesn't know how to make it do what he wants to do, but okay.
Not yet, he don't.
He's a super pro at dragons. Got it. Okay. Next we have...
The Hound gets a badass looking dragon glass axe. That Gendry of course is like, this was really hard to make. I'm really good. This was really hard to make.
Like what?
And I love how the Hound picks up on it too. Is he's like, "You're saying you're good? Is that it?"
He's like, who makes weapons for wildlings?
Cripples and cocksuckers. Which are you?
And then there's Arya just creeping up from the shadows. All of these Stark kids are kind of creepy, right? Like they're a little bit on the creepy side. Sansa with the long glances, Arya with the faceless shit. Bran wheeling
They've
around.
They've all kind of got fucked up pasts now.
Good Lord. They're a whole.
You know
thing.
what?
Yeah.
Let's think about this for a second. We're gonna take a poll. Okay.
All right.
Which Stark kid has the least fucked up story?
Rickon? Is he still alive in this show?
No,
he died.
he's dead.
He's just an abandoned baby. He never got to be a real boy.
Would it be Bran? Do you think?
They're all super tragic, right?
I mean, yeah.
Rob.
I mean, I guess Arya's is kind of not that bad. Arya's is almost more badass than bad. You know?
But it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
I mean, the whole Harrenhal thing and her being with the Hound is pretty tragic, I guess.
Yeah. And then, Arya was with the Hound, and the Hound says, "By the way, you left me to die."
Yeah. First I robbed you.
It's a good one-liner. They had some good ones. I feel like all the characters. Bran had a good one-liner. Sansa, Cersei. I feel like Arya now has this first I robbed you. That got a laugh in my household. Yep. That definitely got a laugh. Yep. That was good.
You're a cold bitch. That's that's why you're still alive.
I was expecting a little bit more. I had wanted a little bit more warmth between them because so both of the Stark children owe Sandor Clegane their lives, right? Like Sandor saves Sansa from Joffrey. He saves her in the books anyway. I don't know about the show.
Yes. And he does.
And then the Hound saves Arya as well from the Red Wedding, at least in the books, and I think he saves her. I don't know how they played it in the show, really. But both of these kids owe their lives to this guy, and I was expecting like a nod or a look or like something, but really it was super cold. Like they got in their little digs, and then you're a cold little bitch. I guess that's why you're still alive. And then he just like walks away with his axe. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think when I first saw this, I would have I'm not expecting her to like run up and hug him, I guess, but I agree. Like a little bit more warmth from I think the Hound, especially. Yeah.
Something like a side, like have him walk away, and then when Arya can't see him, have him smirk a little bit. Something like that. Like it doesn't have to be a moment that they share together, but share a moment with me as the viewer. Oh.
Yeah.
It was okay. How did you think the Gendry
Arya flirting went?
Yeah, the rekindling of the one true romance. What's that about?
I think it was all right. I didn't mind it. I thought it was very much a callback to when they first started flirting on their way up to Winterfell with Yoren, right?
Yeah.
Yoren.
Yep.
York. Yeah.
Alas,
they did the, is that a command, Lady Stark? Don't call me that. As you wish, my lady.
As you wish.
Yeah. Question. What the fuck is Arya getting made? Like,
that was my question for you. What the fuck is that thing?
The first time I watched that episode, right, I'm thinking, is that a blow dart? What is it? And then, of course, you go to Reddit and someone took a screenshot of the thing and you look at it and it's got like one end is like a removable dagger of dragon glass and the other thing is, I don't know, like a staff. But look, there's no fucking dimensions on it. Like, what is the scale of this thing? Like... what the fuck is going on here? So
I'm not really a person that rewatches things. Like I tried to get an idea of what it might be, and I thought, oh, it's a detachable scroll holder. So she would write a text message like "sucka" in there, and that would be inside it. And then
you thought maybe it was like a note that said like "I love you."
Yeah, and then it would like pull back out and it'd be like "suck my butt," or. That's where my mind went. I 100% think that's I think I nailed it. I think that's exactly what this weapon is.
Oh, this is like a sex toy? This is like a sex toy dildo and a butt plug made of dragon glass. Like you go, one end goes in one end and you pop the other side off and you're like, all right, we got the butt plug now.
Yeah, it's mostly like I kill you and then like as you're scrabbling around in the dirt, you would have to read the last thing. Like there was a message. I killed you, but there was a message, and you read the message, and it's just like, I don't know, a fart emoji. Like that's where I went with it. So,
oh my god.
So clearly not. I think I'll be surprised by whatever it is. Perhaps
my guess
emoji deliverer.
Yeah. It's definitely the fart emoji thing. I don't know if I was analyzing this and putting my brain to it. I think it's more like a staff with a removable dragon head dagger. I guess. I don't know. Maybe a Valyrian steel tip at the end, but like no one has worked with Valyrian steel in a while, and it doesn't necessarily look like the cat's paw. But, I guess it could be. Yeah,
there's definitely like a thing that goes inside another thing. So it's
like a penis.
Or fingers. So there's a tube and it definitely says
it could be
glass.
fingers.
but so I don't. So it's like you stab
That's the butt
and
plug
run?
part.
So it's
That's
like
the butt plug
world's
part.
right. It's the world's shortest arrow, right? Like it could be like
Yeah,
the
I don't
crossbow
know.
stuff,
I don't
but you
know.
have to be in melee range, and so you're just stabbing people and then putting in a new tip and stabbing the next guy and putting in a new tip. Like maybe just shoot some arrows. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know where we're going with this. Maybe it's a single shot weapon that she has in mind for the Night King. So she can get up close
maybe.
to him and talk to
Maybe
him.
she tries. Maybe she
And she,
wants to
like,
steal the Night King's
infiltrates.
face.
Yeah, and so she knows she needs something that's just a little bit, I don't know, more subtle. But her cat's paw dagger would do the same shit. Yo, I don't
Yeah.
know. I have no guesses. I
So
mean,
where
I
do we
do.
go from there then?
It's a fart emoji deliverer.
Yeah.
When you die, it like delivers the insults that you will be reading as you die.
It's like Marvin the Martian bullet. It shoots it. It stops right in
That's
front of
right,
you,
that's right.
pops open, and
Yes,
gives you a little fart emoji.
That's right.
Oh,
Yes.
my
Yes,
God.
that's exactly it. Sansa and John are down in are they in the crypts or are they just in
I don't
like,
think so. I think they're
they're
in
just in the
Sansa's
castle?
room.
All right.
Yeah, they're in a room somewhere.
So he's all
Yeah.
like, "You don't like my girlfriend," and she's like, "Your girlfriend kind of sucks. I think you're
Yeah,
only with her because she's cute."
Yeah, it's like, did you bend the knees so that you could use your lord's kiss on her,
That's right. Yeah, she
or was
definitely
it
said
like
that.
you
I
know?
remember that line.
Yeah,
Don't
She's
you have
like,
any
look,
faith in
everyone
me?"
else. She's like, everyone else is like in love with you, and you clearly married a redhead. So like, why don't we just do what Queen Cersei did, and you can get on your knee for me?
That's right.
You know, it's just petty jealousy at that point.
There is the certain scenes did really well. I think this one, I want Sansa and Jon to be more on the level with each other. Like I want them to be able to speak. I don't know, cut through the bullshit a little bit, and I didn't get that from this scene.
Yeah, me
He
neither.
reiterates his like, but I brought dragons and armies and she's gonna be our best chance. The only way we win this is with her. We need her. And she's like, yeah, but you're in love with her. Like they could have done more in this dialogue with these two characters, even this early in the season. They could have like cut to the bone, and I don't know, it seemed very surface and not, I don't know, it just didn't super do good things for me.
I agree. So
I'm definitely riding that green dragon, David.
Riding the green dragon. Let's go. Okay. Skip the next scene. Okay. So the next one is good, right? Because this is where the turn, I think, happens, where you kind of see the potential Mad King side of Dany.
Okay. We'll talk about this. Give me your opinion of this scene. So it's Sam.
So
he gets interrupted.
first off, yeah, Sam gets interrupted from reading a smut magazine or a smut book. Tusk Love specifically. No.
Yes. Critical Role. # Critical Role.
I know, right? Oh, so good. Anyway, so fucking Sam is reading or writing or something, and the queen comes in, and sorry, queen, and she comes to, I think, to thank him for saving Ser Jorah, and she's like, we'll have to make some changes at the Citadel, and I stole my house sword, I'm a Tarly, blah blah blah. And she says, a Tarly, like Randall Tarly? Yeah, I burned him. And Sam's like kind of gets upset about it, but he's like, all right, I guess that's okay. I can go home. At least I'll be allowed at home now because my brother's the Lord. And she's like, oh yeah, your brother's dead too. And he's like, fuck you, you bitch, you killed my brother. I hate you now. I'm telling Dad.
A couple of things we need to remember. First of all, Randall Tarly is totally okay to get burnt alive by a dragon. Number two.
I agree.
Number two, Dickon is actually called Westerosi Tom Brady. Thank you very much. And he did die prematurely. Tyrion warned her that she should try to not do this. That, like, maybe the right answer is killing Randall, but sparing Dickon. Like, let him sweat it out in his cell for a while and then, like, restore his lands, and that'll be fine. Here's my issue, David. We cannot, as a people, give Sansa Stark a pardon for doing dumb shit like getting her dad murdered when she was a kid, while not also extending the same consideration for Dany. I have the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I'm a conqueror in a new land. These two dudes were hostile. They made their choice. She respected their choice. Her dragon burned them alive. I get it that like, this is not great for Sam Tarly, and there are going to be repercussions, and maybe Dany would have benefited from taking Tyrion's advice and the advice of her not concierge, of the people that are advising her. Yeah.
Her hand.
So, like, she should have done that in retrospect. Burn Randall, save Dickon, totally the right answer. But, like, she was a kid. She's new to this. She's doing the best she can. And, you're
just saying that because you think she's hot.
I'm not. I'm saying it because I think she's a good leader, and I think she's about to get overshadowed by mediocre Jon Snow. That's what I think.
Because you think she's hot and he's not. That's your problem, right? I mean, I get it. It's cool.
First of all, I love Sam. I mean, if you want to be like a sexy guy in my eyes, it's just like, be a good dude, right? And he's a good dude. And he's smart, and he cares about Gilly and the baby, and like,
where's Gilly and the baby? Where's Gilly and the baby? Where?
Hopefully they're at Heart's home. Nope. Heartsbane? No, that's his sword. What's the Tally? What is this?
They're definitely not at the Tully house because she flees with him.
Tarly. Where's the Tarly house? What do they have? They have
Hearth Home. Isn't it Hearth Home?
Isn't that
It's Hearth Home.
Hard Home is what I'm thinking of.
Hard Home. Hard Home.
Fuck, we're really good at this. All men must drink.
We are really, really good at this. Like, it is definitely. Yeah, we're really good at this.
So, yep. So Sam liked his brother, and his dad was a dick, and they're both burned alive, and he's like, okay, I would like to go cry, but not have you stare at my face, so I'm going to go and leave right now. So he goes and leaves right now, and he runs into Bran in the courtyard, and he's like, hey, what's up? Did you know that Queen Daenerys... Horn Hill. The Tarleys of Horn Hill. We should have known.
We should have known that.
Yeah. He says, hey, what are you doing out here to Bran? And Bran's like, I'm waiting for an old friend. I thought he was talking about Sam, but he was definitely talking about Jaime.
Well, yeah, he's definitely talking about Jaime. I mean, you don't learn that until the very end, but like,
what did you think at the time when you saw the scene? What did you think?
I was like, I saw a nice meme that sums it up very perfectly, which is, it's a GoFundMe page to get handicap ramps in Winterfell so that you can get Bran out of the courtyard before the next morning. Like, it's fucking nighttime when he goes to see Sam, or Sam goes to see Bran, and fucking Jaime doesn't show up until like the next morning. It's light out again. Yeah. It's like, come on, Bran, winter's coming. You're going to catch pneumonia out there.
Yeah, he doesn't care because he's just not a human person anymore. Waiting for an old friend. So Sam scurries off to tell Jon the truth in front of Ned Stark's statue in the crypts.
Yep.
How about this scene? How about this moment when Jon realizes he is really Aegon Targaryen?
Aegon. Yeah. I think this is a callback to when when Robert's in the crypts and Ned comes down to see him. You know, or Robert is placing a feather in Lyanna's hands, you know, and Ned comes down to talk. I knew I'd find you here. And he's like, oh, she's so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. This is very much the same thing. You know, someone that Jon 100% admired is like, you know, coming down to pay homage to his dad, the most honorable man he's ever known, just to find out that it was a complete lie.
Yep.
Like, just like his entire life was a complete lie. But at the same time, I think Sam, this is what happens when you drink. You get Bran and Sam confused because the names sound so familiar. But you get Sam.
All men must drink.
All men must drink.
My cheers have a hollow ring because I'm cheersing my like glass cup with our Westeros Wheneverly
shaker. Yeah,
Yep.
nice.
And so it's giving me a hollow like tink sound. Yep. Would you have done it? Well, I've executed men who disobeyed me. You've
also spared them.
Yeah. Thousands of wildlings when they refused to kneel. I wasn't a king. Yes, you were, John. You were always a king.
You've always been the king. You're the rightful lord of the 7 kingdoms, protector of the realm.
And then the beat drops and everyone starts dancing to trance music.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
gave up my crown, Sam. I bent the knee. I'm not the king in the north anymore. And then it's just like, I'm not the king. I'm not the king. I'm a bastard. I'm not the king.
Yeah.
I'm not the king. I'm a bastard. Like, yeah.
I think we're the new Deadmau5, right? Right there.
For real, it's
we're
just
the
like
new
blue
Deadmau5.
and white lights, blue and white lights, blue and white lights.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Well, we almost made it to the end of an episode without getting completely smashed, but here we are.
Almost,
all right,
almost.
We're down in the old Cryptoluse with Sam and Jon Snow, who's really
we get the reveal.
Targaryen, the sixth of his name.
Aegon Targaryen, sixth of his name, protector of the realm. Okay, Band-Aid gets ripped off, right?
Yep.
Ripped.
Yep. You're saying that my father lied to me all my life?
Yes.
Yeah.
He made a promise to Lyanna.
Yeah.
The question that I think is a little interesting, which is, how does Jon not go, how do you know this, Sam? Right? How does he not like, what are you smoking? You read this in a book, And Sam would be like, I read it in a book and Creepy Bran saw it.
Yep. I think, Jon has been so he's got to have that question in his head, right? Like, his dad was very honorable, but he broke his vows to have Jon. That doesn't quite line up. And he has all of his life of memories with his dad, always calling him, like, you're my blood, never you're my son, just you're my blood. Right. And,
you have my blood, yeah.
And so there's all this stuff, and then the dragons really like him, and dragons only like Targaryens, and, and there's just this stuff. There's this question. So I feel like he knew the truth, even if he
The dragons like Tyrion too. Remember when he went down there and he's like,
that's so
hey,
weird.
Dragons, I'm going to take these chains off your neck.
Yep.
And then he walks away and he tells Varys, don't ever let me do that again. That was fucking scary as shit.
Yep. If I ever do that again, punch me in the face. It's weird that they liked you and didn't eat you. It's almost as if you're a Targaryen.
It's almost as if the Mad King raped Joanna and then that's why you came out all stunted and partially have a tail. But,
it's so weird that you're a Targaryen as well.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about. I'm glad we got to see Tormund this episode. Okay, he's been one of my favorite characters.
Yes, for sure.
Recently,
for sure. My eyes have always been blue. It's
quick.
So good.
Watch out! He's got blue eyes.
I've always had blue eyes. I really like Tormund a lot. I will say just a little glimpse into what my life is like. So we're watching this scene and they're sneaking around Last Hearth, and the one group runs into Tormund's group, and oh my god, okay, fine. And then they get in, they're following that creepy blood trail and everything. Like, there are no bodies anywhere, but there's definitely been a massacre. And then there's this kid smashed against the wall, right? Like, obviously dead, in this spider, like, crab claw circle, whatever it is.
The spirals, yeah.
Did you, David, notice when they were focused on, I think it was Tormund, but it might have been Dolores Ed, that in that scene in the background, the kid's eyes are blue, like
open. Yes,
the kid is out of focus, and he's not.
Yes, he's definitely a white. Yeah,
but he's like awake, and the eyes are blue. Do you know this? And like, it takes a long couple of minutes before the kid like actually moves, but his eyes are open, right?
Yeah. The
Are you
Night
with
King
me
is
on this?
watching. I'm watching. I'm with you.
Yes. So I'm watching this, and I'm only paying attention to the guy that's in focus, which not that much attention because was it Dolorous Ed? Was it Tormund? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Kirsten sitting next to me with a fucking bear claw of a hand steel traps my upper arm, like clamps onto me and starts screaming like a banshee. And I'm just trying to listen to the show, and she starts screaming. She's gripped onto my arm, and then she starts hitting my arm, and I'm like, I can feel the circulation, the like blood stuff in my arm, and she's
And
like,
you have no idea what's going on because you're watching Tormund.
his eyes are blue. The kid's eye. And like, so there's this like wailing and this pain and this like shooting numbness in my arm, and I'm getting beaten.
Oh, nice.
And then she's like, his eyes are blue. His eyes are blue. And that's when I noticed that the kid is fucking awake. And then a second later, the kid's like, ah! And wakes up and everyone starts freaking out.
Jump
Oh my
scare.
God.
The Westerosi jump scare. That's what that was.
I have like a black and blue mark on my arm that's like perfectly in the shape of Kirsten's hand, and then other hand beating me. So I was like, I didn't notice that, but then I did. Then it was promptly called to my attention.
Nice.
That was creepy. Last Hearth, we barely knew ye. Why would they send a 5-year-old to go get all of the Umbers, really? But okay.
Because he's Lord Umber. I mean,
I guess.
in season 7, they call the banners to the King of the North, and he says, I'm not going to, he goes, I'm not going to blame the sins of the father. I'm not going to steal your lands. You, Lord Umber, 5-year-old, you can have your lands and your titles and your castle, and you, Alana Karstark, you can have your lands and your titles or whatever. And so that's why.
Ugh, crazy. And then the final scene. So we light a boy on fire because that is how we go these days. And
Game of Thrones. We can do whatever we want.
Yep. There's the circle of time forever on fire. And then Jaime. Okay. Am I the only one that's like, the Lannisters used to be blonde? Right? Like, what is it? Cersei's a redhead now, and Jaime's just a dusty brown, like Luke Skywalker. What is this look? What is this look?
Yeah. And Tyrion's not blonde anymore either, but, it's a dirty old blonde. It's just they haven't showered in weeks,
I guess.
They used to dye their hair in the sun in the south, and now they've been like in the north fighting and in the free cities. I don't know. I'm making excuses. Yeah, I'm making excuses.
It is what it is, I guess. So Luke Skywalker.
Jaime's definitely gotten a little gray too.
Yeah.
Look at that beard. He's got such a. I love the beard. I love the salt and pepper in it. I love the look. I think this actor is perfect for this role. I think it's very perfect. I think there's also supposed to be like the passage of some time between the end of season 7 and the beginning of this, because I mean, he left clean shaven. Just throwing it out there.
I don't know. How long does it take to grow a beard? How long would it take you to grow a beard like this? So you're clean shaven one day.
A beard like that?
Yeah, like
a
small...
probably like a month, maybe a month and a half.
That's a month. That's a month of growth. What about guys that have like 5 o'clock shadow? Isn't that like a week? Couldn't that be?
Well, it depends on the guy.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe he's just more manly than I am, so that could be like 1 week, but
one of the running jokes of my family is that, so we are not very hairy people, and my 2 little brothers cannot grow full beards, so they just
poor
have
guys.
so they'll get like kind of a beard, and then they'll just have like a patchy side where like it doesn't grow really. So weird. So they keep them short, so the facial hair has to stay kind of short, just kind of hide the fact that they can't grow beards.
Can't grow beards. Yep.
Yep. At least not full beards. Not really. Funny. So Bran is like, I'm waiting for my friend, an old friend, the guy that pushed me out a fucking window.
The guy who started it all.
Yeah, and then they like lock eyes. And
what do you think is going through Jaime's head?
Holy shit.
Oh shit, I thought you were dead?
I think he blue screens and he's just like fuck. And like Bran is bringing his most creepy.
I think Bran is like, it's all right, I'll forgive you. We got to kill the Night King. Welcome to the fold, my dude.
Think that's
I think
how
he's
it's
gonna be
be?
like, I think he's just gonna be like, What's up, Jamie? How you doing?
There's going to be like a you robbed me of my whole life. It's going to be just a forgive and forget situation. Like, yeah,
I think
who hasn't been fucking their sister secretly in a tower and committing treason when I pushed a child out a window to save my secret?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think what's going to happen is as soon as he shows up, Sansa and Jon are going to be like, "You fucking motherfucker," but I think Bran's going to be like, "It's all right."
Good Lord.
He calls him a friend. He doesn't say, "I'm waiting for an old enemy."
Yeah, that's true.
He says, "I'm waiting for an old friend."
Oh, jeez. I mean, okay, so my hopes. So what are your hopes for the rest of the season? Beginning with this final moment, mine are that I hope that Bran is able to go the distance, that there's some sort of depth of character, some illuminating truth, something that moves his two-dimensional, like, mopey-ass character forward and also helps Jaime along on his, like, redemption arc. I hope something like that happens between the two of them. Jaime could experience forgiveness. Bran could be like, this was always the path I was supposed to walk. Hashtag I can't walk. Like,
right.
Something. Like, I want there to be some sort of growth there. I do know from the next week's
I want
seasons,
Jaime and Tormund to fight over Brienne. That's what I want. I want a scene with Jaime and Brienne and Tormund. Love triangle. That's what I want.
Love triangle.
And I want fucking Clegane Bowl.
Do we think that Jaime and Brienne are going to bone?
Based on the trailer, I think there's a scene where Jaime and Brienne and Tormund are all like fighting on the ramparts of Winterfell, and I think spoilers. I think that Jaime is going to die, and it's going to send Brienne into a fucking fit of rage, killing like a shitload of White Walkers, and Tormund's just going to pop a boner and be like, "Oh."
Oh, geez. So I really hope that we see. So Jaime has only ever been with Cersei, and in order for the hags thing, a younger, more beautiful one will come. A beauty will come to tear you down and take away all that you hold dear.
Brienne the booty. Yeah.
Yeah, I want that prophecy to include some boning between Jaime and Brienne. I mean, just personally, I would love to see that. So, but I don't know that the show's actually going to go there. I can't imagine. So that's what I would like to see. I don't think it's going to happen. What else? David? So there's a big battle coming, right?
There's a big battle. There's going to be a fight at Winterfell. You know, that's the last stand of the North that we think, right? I definitely read on Reddit by some guy on Reddit. I'm good at giving credits, obviously. But this was not my theory, but I do definitely agree with it. I think the Night King is flying to King's Landing. I don't think he's going to bring his I don't think he's going to bring his dragon with his army. You know, there's the Daenerys's like last vision in the House of the Undying is the Iron Throne, like with the red keep like broken open and it's snowing and ashy and stuff. So I really think that the Night's King is going to fly over to King's Landing and try to burn the shit out of it. But I don't know. What I'm looking forward to most, I think, is hopefully being surprised, because I want the show to end like season 1 ended, where I was like, I can't believe they just chopped off Ned's head. Like, what?
Yes.
Like, Ned was the fucking main character, right? So I want the show to end where all I am doing is, I can't believe that just happened. I need to know what happens next.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yep. In the next episode specifically, what are you hoping to see?
I want to see what the fuck happens with Bran and Jaime. I want to see that. I want to see what do I want to see? I want to see some more of the Night King's progression. I want to see, where the fuck actually are they in the map? Like, what do they do after they tear this hole in the wall? and I want to see how John works the news in. Like, does he go and tell Dany, like, hey,
Oh, that's a good point.
like, I'm apparently like the true king. I'm Aegon, and
do you think he
and
starts that conversation with like, "Excuse me, Auntie, can you just have a seat while I tell you about how we are super related?"
I also want to see them get married first, and then, like, I was kind of partially hoping that they didn't rip that part of the Band-Aid off yet, and like
Yeah.
Davos and they all make this pact, and they're like, yeah, that's probably the best for the realm, and they get married, and then she gets pregnant, and then they're like, oh, by the way, this is incest, and everything that we're fighting against is incest, and I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I'm just, all I know is, in the words of Matt Mercer, but altered a little bitly, is it Sunday yet?
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
Nerds and neckbeards. Thanks for listening to a wonderful welcome back Westeros episode.
Our return episode. Our return to Westeros. Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good.
Oh, it hurts so good. Sometimes podcasts just feel like they should, you know.
I feel like
Feels so good.
I want you to like Photoshop, just pretend to Photoshop my face over that super intense face of Drogon staring at Dany and Jon with all his little like neck ruffles and everything kind of moving in the wind. Like, that's me watching the rest of the season. Take
excellent.
That image.
I'm going to take that to the bank. I'm going to save it.
Right. That's right. Take that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Nerds and neckbeards, until next week.
Yeah,
we will talk to you later. And I don't know. That ladies and gentlemen,
Thanks.
nerds and neckbeards, that's our sign off.
That's our sign off. Thanks for listening.
No. This drink, looks like nothing to me.
No. All men
must drink.